What is up, YouTube? How are we doing? I am going to do a trade date middle of the week here. I hope you're all doing wonderful. We had some absolute banger trades in the Discord, 851% from one of our members. Actually beat out my returns on DJT, which we'll talk about here in a moment. And I also want to cover SPY right now. I'm currently using this as a hedge against some other positions. It's been really rough trying to play the index this week, actually. If we kind of look back at what Monday gave us, which was, I mean, just a total fake out on the open here. This was my short signal, come down, then it came down, tested this trend line after faking out to the upside. I mean, just miserable price action Monday and Tuesday. These are very difficult trades. Here today was a lot better follow through from names like Apple and Tesla. Our Tesla calls hit 120%. 2 days ago I covered Tesla and I said this looks like it's going into a third wave, like we're going to spring up, and we can see these trend lines here on shorter time frames have held extremely well. Let's see if we can see that on the 15. Probably need to go to the 30 though. And we'll adjust the chart here. We can see that, this is beautiful. We can even adjust this a little bit cleaner right there. But we can see we have these nice trend lines on the up to the upside. We're seeing good volume confirmation coming in today. Buyers are pouring in on Tesla. We just need over this 200 and this thing will go absolutely parabolic. We could still see a denial, and that actually would be pretty brutal if we see that. And in fact, what you might see looking at this, if I go ahead and let's see, we'll just go ahead and remove all this for now. What you could see is we actually get something like a cup. Why is this white? It's not. It's completely not even ritual. And then a handle that forms before we explode to the upside. Totally possible that we see something like that for the stock. But right now, this is what I'm looking for at the moment. I'm looking for a nice explosive move to 250 coming at the end of the year. So let's talk about SPY real quick though, because this has been really difficult to trade. And I think it's also important that we remember that we're in a really bullish year right now. I posted some data here. Not only do we typically see liquidity start to build back into the market into these summer rallies, and even into the weak months, you'll see money pouring into the market. I also think that we have to take note of how bullish the election year is and how great performance can be. We can really see that mount well into the summer rally. We're coming out of June, which is an okay month, into July, which is a fantastic month. And then that usually carries through to what is typically one of the strongest months of the year. That's August. Okay. So we're walking into a very bullish time period for the market. And so I had this parallel channel set up for SPY, but based on the performance that we've seen from different names, we see something like Amazon firing all cylinders, rip this trade. I had this level set based off the daily chart where we have this triple top right here. And in fact, you could probably call it a better triple top from these three levels here, breaking through and all-time highs. This is likely going to go a lot higher as well. So I'm going to be looking, and actually this might even be a giant cup and funky handle right there. But you have amazing trend lines that you could draw here. Microsoft will probably, Amazon will probably have some good follow through. But one of the things I was watching here and that was making me nervous was this parallel channel. After reviewing this, I think I may have made a mistake here on my setup for this channel, and it should probably look something more like this, in which case we haven't seen a breakdown. So, it's one thing, like I had a few losing trades earlier this week, and it's one thing to say, oh, I didn't make money, so it was a bad decision, but that usually leads to poor decision making. After doing some resulting analysis, we could see that I probably could have had better information and had this set up. It wasn't until I looked back at how this parallel channel played out where you kind of do see that we start to trend below the 50% here on the parallel channel, but we continue to melt up. We might be seeing something like that happen with this channel. We're starting to play below the 50% in the center of that parallel channel, and we're just going to continue to melt up. That could be playing out. And if we look at something like the 4-hour, and we see the structure has retraced, but it's holding above 51 on the RSI right now. It could even get an SMA cross right there and plummet and come right back up. We're seeing that the TTM squeeze is also starting to roll back to the upside. This could just continue to melt up from here, so something to be aware of. I have some Apple calls that I gave some extra time to, and those are doing okay. This trend is still intact, as you can see right there on the chart. Just look, simple look at the EMAs will tell you that. We see Microsoft going to all-time new highs. We see NVIDIA also what looks to be a fourth wave retracement and then a fifth wave to the upside. Obviously, earlier this year, I was calling for 131 to be the high. I think it ended up going a little bit above that, but we have this retracement. There might be some potential to come here on NVIDIA. We haven't seen the daily actually turn over here, but we have seen the RSI bounce. It's got a long way to meet its SMA and to maybe get another big move to the upside, but this is really interesting. And a stock that's also really interesting to me right now, let's go ahead and get... I thought I already had this chart up. Yeah, there we go. Micron, I thought that this would be a good bottom and a good time to buy some stock. I also bought some very, very cheap out the money options just in case we wanted to get a big move to the upside. But we actually got a sell off in the earnings. And let's see if we can see some of that earnings data. But we had great surprises pretty much across the board in an announcement of a dividend. So even though I bought some shares into this and I took some pain, I'm feeling really good about this. And I came in the after hours and actually bought some shares as well. Sometimes, the market is just has outrageous expectations. Those expectations aren't met. Then you see these sell-offs. In my opinion, this isn't something that causes me to panic. It's like, okay, that's what we're going to do. We're still walking into 2 very strong months for the market. All right, I'll go ahead and just average into my position, and I'll collect that dividend while I'm also holding this stock for some great returns. Our target here right now is going to be 190. And then also, if you want to subscribe to the channel, I'll be covering this as well. This is our analyst, Michael Del Monte. He is fantastic. You could talk to him in the Discord, but we're also going to cover some of his research over Micron Technology later this week. I'll go ahead and break down everything he's saying here to give you guys a better understanding of what's going on, because of course he shares all his research in the Discord. I'll also be talking about NVIDIA some in that video as well, so make sure to subscribe if you want to see that content. The other thing that I wanted to talk about in this video was IBB. We had what looks to be like a breakout on both the weekly and daily, and we still have some indication of that despite some weakness. These contracts have been beaten around a little bit. They were July positions. We can see that on the daily. We've come and we've tested this very strong EMA. We're still above the green EMA. That means this is still very strong. Our RSI structure is still intact, although we are seeing a retracement there. The 1 hour looks pretty rough, so this might go through a considerable consolidation phase before we come back up. I'd love to see us get back into this EMA convergence and push higher over that. But right now, it still looks like this is going to pick up steam. Remember, we're walking into those really strong months, so if I'm going to take some pain on my entries, that's fine. Another trade that you probably could have entered in today, but you might have also taken some pain, was Roku here. Roku was on my radar today, but a little bit late, so I decided not to open that trade up just yet. Typically when we see this hit these levels in the 1 hour, we'll see some aggressive retracements down. Now this could be a little bit different than these prior peaks due to kind of the information that we're kind of seeing and some of the signals that we're seeing on the 4 hour. Okay, if we look at the 4 hour and we start to see these peaks, actually where some of these, something like this, if this goes ahead and we hit something crazy like an 89 RSI, we could see a substantial retracement, but it could also lead to some greater highs. So that's kind of what I'm looking for right there. Okay, that's what got my attention. If this really wants to push into an extension, then I might not only chase it in the short term for some scalp opportunities, but also come in on some dips, especially given, again, maybe we'll get some interest rate cuts and some of these beaten down names will come through. You have to be mindful of the fact that what we've been calling the broken index in the Discord, just because it has literally not been performing at all, was showing some signals on Monday and Tuesday that there might have been a rotation going on where maybe some of the money is coming from SPY and going into IWM. Obviously, we have this crazy long consolidation phase in the IWM. Okay, this is a multi-year consolidation phase, absolutely brutal for this market. So when this breaks out, if you can get over that, what was that even? Was that 215, 241 even? So maybe there's like multiple levels here that you could come in on, to 210 to 231 to 250. Is that what that was? 245. Yeah, if we can start to get some pick up the pace here a bit, this will be really strong. Obviously, the weekly is showing us a lot of weakness. You'd want to see the RSI bounce right here. You want to see the strength continue to come in, but there's historical evidence that we will see that coming in the future. Honestly, this chart still has a lot of improving to do before I get excited about it. So think about that covers all the. Oh, let's talk about DJT. So for DJT, what I'm looking for, and what we've seen, we came here on the lows. I actually bought here on my original position. I bought the 45 calls, and then on the way down, I actually bought the $30 calls. I unloaded the 30s through this chop zone right here, and I continued to hold the 45 calls. That's the position you saw that went to 851%. Now we're at a very key level here. This could be a fake out, and this could retrace. The debate is literally tomorrow, so this could be a sell the news event. Okay, it could sell off also post event. Remember, this stock is tied to Trump, right? Obviously, it's called Trump Media, but this is about Truth Social. So if he does really well, we might see an extension and push to 44. Okay. And we could also see a deep retracement. So how do you handle situations like this? I went ahead and closed the 45 contracts. Okay. Took some massive gains on those, and then opened up a smaller position. I don't want to show you all my trades. Sorry, that's for Discord members only. Although if you follow me on Twitter, I share lots of stuff there. But I went ahead and closed these contracts, and then I bought the $50 calls on a shorter date. So as you can see, I don't know if you noticed that there, but these were for July 12th. I actually came in and bought July 5th, I think, on the contracts. For the $50 call. So definitely something that is more of a lotto. It's on a shorter time frame, and it's further out the money. So that means it's going to be harder for that target to hit, but you kind of have to play out that far because you want to play cheap and you want to play for something ridiculous at this point, right? It's just a small portion of the profits that have been made. If it plays out, it could still pay 200 to 300%. But if we do see an aggressive retracement come in, I'm completely okay with that. You have to be mindful of the fact that this company is a pile of garbage. Okay, this company makes absolutely no money. This was a trash company, but a very real catalyst. So that's what led to the setup of the play. Basically, what made me come in, even though everything was telling me that this could even plunge even further, was the IV was cooked so low. Okay, so make sure when you're watching stocks like this, you're going and looking at the historical volatility. It will tell you a ton. Okay, so make sure you're watching that. Although we can't even see this trend line is pretty solid for how that played out. So yeah, that's about all I wanted to cover. Just give some updates on how the trading is, because we didn't talk about it on Monday. Instead, I did that deep dive on Tesla. If you're here after that video, thank you so much. We got so many subscribers off that video, so much likes and so much support, and I really appreciate it. So, in response to that, I'll be doing a lot more content about MU and stuff. For those of you who are wondering, hey, why haven't I been seeing Josh's face? What's going on? There's a bunch of other videos that were supposed to be coming out. I have a lot of content that's almost done editing, and it's on my other PC, but my other PC is at the shop. So I'm actually using a backup computer to record all of this, and this doesn't have enough ports for me to add the webcam and stuff. I have my nice microphone set up and everything, and then I'm using CapCut right now to record this content, and that's why I'm also doing one take and trying to keep it really simple, because this PC even struggles with something like CapCut. That's this is a really lightweight video editor, so it really shouldn't struggle as much as it does. But hey, what you gonna do? And make it do with what I got. Oh, the one thing else I should probably mention was Bitcoin. Here, we had what looked like an inverted head and shoulders forming right here, and now it's starting to roll back over. Okay, so this to me looks extremely bearish. If you get back below 60 again, which it might be below that, we might just be able to see it very well. Nope, we're coming and we're bouncing right off of it, or we're gonna come and meet it actually. From the looks of it, if you get below that again, look for 55. I do not expect Bitcoin to break below 55, but if you do get below this 55, you're gonna end up in the 40s. Yeah, so something like 49, maybe even 48, maybe even a little bit below that, where you have this support right here. That could be significant as well. So keep an eye on this. It's going to be really important. I know a lot of people are really excited about stocks like Mara and Riot right now. That, I get the excitement. I get why you guys want to play it. But I would just be cautious of some of this stuff as it could as this could have violent turnovers. Actually, look how incredibly sturdy this consolidation phase is in Mara. This thing could be ready to absolutely take off. And I actually have some long dated calls for December, but I've been trying not to look at them, and it looks like they've probably holding up really, really well. So that's really interesting. Maybe Bitcoin actually sells off and this holds surprisingly well. Because this thing can come all the way down to like 14 if Bitcoin was to give lower. That's shockingly strong, though, especially since, newer traders tend to come in, and that's why these things could be so crazy volatile, because a lot of those guys are really emotional. And at the slightest sign of weakness of Bitcoin, they're usually getting out. So this might actually be more sophisticated buyers who are coming in and prepping for a bigger move. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. All right. So, actually, you know what? Let me talk about one more thing. Just one more, right? We're going to talk about CELH. There seems to be signs here. RSI structure improving. Daily starting to turn over. We can see that starting to come in. We can see that we're still clearly in a bullish trend. But I am coming in here, and I'm going to try and catch a knife. I'm not a great knife catcher in real life, but when it comes to markets, I've got some decent track records. So I know we're coming into 2 strong months. I can also see how strong this level of support can be for CELH. I still know that this company is a strong company. There's been a lot of bearish things, but we've seen a lot of bearish actions in response. I mean, this thing is pretty much down 50% right now. I think that's an overreaction from the stock. I don't think that this company has lost 50% of its potential. So I'm going to go ahead and take some speculation on some longer day calls. And actually, look how strong that RSI structure has right there. Remember, this is going to be a very volatile stock, so it's going to have some crazy moves. But I'm willing into 2 very strong months, up until August even. Maybe I should even set those up for August. But I bought end of July, and I'm ready for the ride. So hopefully the rest of this market takes some Celsius, and we all go for a run. I hope you enjoyed this video. We got more content on the way. Good luck out there, guys, and God bless.